The further backward you can look, the further forward you are likely to see. In this series, we embark on a captivating exploration of 20 pivotal moments in history. From the signing of the Magna Carta to the dawn of the digital age, we will journey through the annals of time, unraveling the complexities of these historical milestones. Join me as we delve into the past, seeking not just to understand, but to learn, to appreciate, and perhaps even to find guidance for the future that lies ahead. Our journey begins in the year 1215, in a meadow known as Runnymede, England. Here, on the banks of the River Thames, a momentous event unfolded, the signing of the Magna Carta. This charter, agreed upon by a reluctant King John and a group of rebellious barons, was essentially a peace treaty, a means of quelling unrest and preventing civil war. Though born of conflict, the Magna Carta enshrined a revolutionary principle, that even a king was subject to the law. Today, the Magna Carta stands as a cornerstone of democracy, a testament to the enduring human desire for liberty and justice. In the annals of exploration, few journeys have been as significant as Christopher Columbus's voyage in 1492. His arrival in the Americas, a landmass previously unknown to Europeans, marked the beginning of a new era, an age of exploration, colonization, and cultural exchange. For the indigenous populations of the Americas, Columbus's arrival brought about devastation and disease, the consequences of which are still felt today. For Europe, it opened up a new world of resources and opportunities, leading to the rise of global trade, the exchange of ideas, and the transformation of societies on both sides of the Atlantic. The 18th century witnessed a seismic shift in human history, a transformation so profound that it would forever alter the course of civilization. This was the Industrial Revolution, a period marked by unprecedented technological advancements, particularly in Great Britain. It began with the mechanization of the textile industry, where inventions like the spinning jenny and the power loom revolutionized the production of cloth. The steam engine, a marvel of engineering, became the driving force behind this new age, powering factories, trains, and ships. The Industrial Revolution brought about dramatic changes in the way people lived and worked. However, this progress came at a price. Pollution, poverty, and social unrest became the darker side of this industrial boom, issues that continue to challenge us today. The year is 1789. France, a nation burdened by economic inequality and ruled by an absolute monarchy, stood on the brink of radical change. Inspired by Enlightenment ideals of reason, liberty, and individual rights, the French people rose up in revolt against the monarchy, storming the Bastille prison on July 14th. The French Revolution was a tumultuous period, marked by violence, upheaval, and political turmoil. The ideas of popular sovereignty, individual rights, and democratic governance, championed by the French Revolution, continue to resonate today, serving as a reminder of the power of the people to shape their own destiny. For centuries, the institution of slavery cast a dark shadow over the United States. In 1863, during the height of the American Civil War, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were to be freed. While the Emancipation Proclamation did not immediately free all enslaved people in the United States, it paved the way for the passage of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution in 1865, which officially abolished slavery. The legacy of slavery, however, continues to cast a long shadow on American society, and the fight for racial equality and justice remains an ongoing struggle. The world stood on a precipice in the summer of 1914. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, and his wife Sophie were assassinated in Sarajevo by Gavrilo Princip, a Serbian nationalist. The assassination sent shockwaves across Europe, triggering a chain reaction of diplomatic failures and military mobilizations. Within weeks, the fragile peace in Europe crumbled, and the world was plunged into the abyss of the First World War. After 4 long years of devastating warfare, the guns finally fell silent on the Western Front in November of 1918. In 1919, representatives from the victorious Allied powers gathered in the Palace of Versailles outside Paris to negotiate the terms of peace with a defeated Germany. The result was the Treaty of Versailles, a document that would have far-reaching consequences, shaping the political and geographical landscape of Europe for decades to come. The treaty, however, was deeply flawed. These punitive measures sowed the seeds of resentment and instability in Germany, creating fertile ground for the rise of extremist ideologies, including Nazism. The Roaring Twenties, a decade of economic prosperity and cultural dynamism in the United States, came to a shuddering halt in the autumn of 1929. On October 24th, the stock market crashed, marking the beginning of the Great Depression, the worst economic downturn in modern history. Banks collapsed, businesses failed, and millions of people lost their jobs and homes. The Great Depression had a profound impact on American society, shaking people's faith in capitalism and the government's ability to manage the economy. The world watched in horror as the Second World War raged across Europe and Asia. However, the course of the war, and indeed, the course of history, would be irrevocably altered on December 7, 1941. On that fateful Sunday morning, Japanese aircraft launched a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack, which killed over 2,400 Americans and damaged or destroyed numerous ships and aircraft, shocked and outraged the nation. With that declaration, the United States entered World War II, joining the Allied powers in their fight against the Axis forces. The world stood on the brink of a new and terrifying era in the summer of 1945. On August 6, 1945, an American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, instantly killing tens of thousands of people and leaving a city in ruins. 3 days later, on August 9th, a second atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, causing further devastation. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki marked a turning point in human history, ushering in the atomic age and raising profound moral and ethical questions about the use of such weapons. As the world emerged from the ashes of the Second World War, there was a collective sense of hope, a determination to prevent the horrors of such a conflict from ever happening again. In 1945, representatives from 50 nations gathered in San Francisco to draft the UN Charter, a document that laid out the organization's founding principles and goals. The UN was founded on the belief that international cooperation was essential for maintaining peace and security, promoting economic and social development, and upholding human rights. The formation of the United Nations represented a significant step forward in international relations, marking a new era of multilateralism and cooperation. For nearly 3 decades, the Berlin Wall stood as a potent symbol of the Cold War, a physical and ideological barrier that divided East and West Berlin, and by extension, East and West Germany. Erected in 1961 by the Communist government of East Germany, the wall was intended to stem the tide of people fleeing to the West in search of freedom and opportunity. By the late 1980s, the Communist bloc was crumbling. On November 9, 1989, under pressure from mass demonstrations, the East German government announced that its citizens would be free to cross into West Berlin. The fall of the Berlin Wall was a pivotal moment in the Cold War, paving the way for the reunification of Germany and the eventual collapse of the Soviet Union. The dawn of the 21st century brought with it new hopes and challenges, but nothing could have prepared the world for the horrors that unfolded on September 11, 2001. On that clear, crisp autumn morning, terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airliners, turning them into weapons of mass destruction. At 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time, American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. Less than 20 minutes later, at 9:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 175 slammed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center, engulfing it in flames. A third plane, American Airlines Flight 77, crashed into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia at 9:37 a.m., causing a partial collapse of the building. The fourth and final plane, United Airlines Flight 93, crashed into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 10:03 a.m. after passengers and crew members fought back against the hijackers. The first decade of the 21st century was a time of relative economic prosperity for many parts of the world, but beneath the surface, a crisis was brewing, one that would shake the foundations of the global financial system. The crisis, which began in the United States, was rooted in a complex web of factors, including subprime mortgages, deregulation of the financial industry, and excessive risk-taking. When housing prices began to decline in 2006, triggering a wave of defaults on subprime mortgages, the value of these mortgage-backed securities plummeted, sending shockwaves throughout the financial system. Banks and other financial institutions, heavily invested in these securities, faced massive losses, leading to a credit crunch that threatened to bring the global economy to its knees. In the winter of 2010, a wave of pro-democracy protests, fueled by social media and a deep-seated yearning for change, swept across the Arab world. The Arab Spring, as it came to be known, began in Tunisia, where a fruit vendor named Mohamed Bouazizi set himself on fire in protest of police corruption and economic hardship. Bouazizi's act of despair sparked nationwide protests that forced Tunisian President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali to flee the country after 23 years in power. The Tunisian Revolution inspired similar uprisings in neighboring countries, including Egypt, Libya, Syria, Yemen, and Bahrain. The European Union, a project born out of the ashes of World War II, has long been a symbol of unity and cooperation on the continent. In 2016, these tensions came to a head when the UK held a referendum on whether to remain in the EU or leave. The referendum, which took place on June 23, 2016, was a closely fought contest, with 52% voting to leave the EU and 48% voting to remain. The Brexit vote was driven by a complex mix of factors, including concerns about immigration, sovereignty, and economic inequality. In the early months of 2020, the world watched in alarm as a novel coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, spread rapidly across the globe, causing a respiratory illness known as COVID-19. The virus, which originated in Wuhan, China, quickly became a global pandemic, overwhelming healthcare systems, disrupting economies, and upending daily life. As the virus spread, governments around the world implemented unprecedented measures to try to contain it, including lockdowns, travel restrictions, and social distancing guidelines. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a profound impact on every aspect of life, from the way we work and learn to the way we interact with each other. The world of finance is undergoing a digital revolution, driven by the rise of cryptocurrencies, decentralized digital currencies that use cryptography for security. Bitcoin, the first and most well-known cryptocurrency, was created in 2009 by an unknown person or group of people using the name Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin's value has fluctuated wildly since its inception, but its underlying technology, blockchain, has the potential to revolutionize a wide range of industries from finance and supply chain management to healthcare and voting. The rise of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology has sparked both excitement and concern. The Earth's climate is changing at an unprecedented rate, driven by human activities that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. In response to this growing crisis, a global movement for climate action has emerged, led by young people, scientists, indigenous communities, and concerned citizens around the world. From school strikes to mass protests to legal challenges against governments and corporations, climate activists are demanding urgent action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and transition to a more sustainable future. The climate change movement has brought the issue of climate change to the forefront of public discourse, but the challenge of addressing this complex and multifaceted problem remains daunting. Artificial intelligence, AI, is rapidly transforming the world around us, from the way we work and communicate to the way we diagnose diseases and drive cars. Recent advancements in AI, particularly in the field of machine learning, have led to breakthroughs in areas such as image recognition, natural language processing, and robotics. AI-powered systems are now being used in a wide range of applications, from virtual assistants and self-driving cars to medical diagnosis and financial trading. The rapid pace of AI development has sparked both excitement and concern. As we conclude our journey through time, we are reminded of the interconnectedness of events, how each moment, whether seemingly insignificant or monumentally important, has contributed to the world we live in today. History is not just a collection of stories but a living, breathing entity, constantly evolving and shaping our present and future. By understanding the past, we gain insights into the present and are better equipped to navigate the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. Let us move forward with a greater awareness of the forces that have shaped our world and with a renewed determination to create a future worthy of our shared history.